ECOWAS says it does not need the express permission of the UN in order to deploy troops into the Republic of Niger. Leaders from the sub-regional body, after a summit in Abuja last week, activated a standby force that will move into Niger to reinstate the deposed President Bazoum. There are fears the situation may escalate into a full-blown war as Mali and Burkina Faso, which are all under military rulers, have vowed to fight against any ECOWAS intervention. Speaking after a meeting of security chiefs underway at Burma Camp, Commissioner for Political Affairs at ECOWAS, Ambassador Fatou Musa, says the sub-regional body does not need the permission of the UN to go into Niger.
You know, we are faced with the asymmetric conflict situation in West Africa, right? Terrorism. Chapter 7 does not even allow for counter-terrorism.
Absolutely.
You know that. Okay, so this is the environment in which we are operating. Why are people talking about Chapter 7 here, Chapter 7 there? When ECOWAS went to Liberia, Sierra Leone, we didn't ask for Chapter 7. We informed the African Union, we informed the UN after the fact. Often, let me tell you one thing, Chapter 7, the request for Chapter 7 is often done, in order to secure resources, access contribution, from the UN coffers, right? The heads of states are saying, that we are going to Niger with our own resources. Anybody who wants to help us, fair enough.
Well, the Peace and Security Council have actually disassociated itself from this action.
Can you repeat that?
The Peace and Security Council of the UN, they've disassociated, the African Union disassociated themselves from this action.
They have not. Who tells you that? You are reading fake news. Okay, that's what. Listen, there is because you have some member states who are actually flouted and they are on suspension. Is this action? There is a time you have to draw the line in the sand. Okay, the fact that we had 3 successful coups and no muscular approach was applied there doesn't mean that we should allow the domino to continue. That is it.
What would be, you talk of drawing the line, what would be the line between the ECOWAS and the UN at this point in time?
No, what line are you talking? UN has condemned the coup.
Of course they have.
They are supporting the actions of ECOWAS.
The UN supporting the
UN, yes.
ECOWAS.
Don't forget, the UN, right until about a few months ago, I was the director for West Africa at the UN. Okay? The UN has 2 main blocks. You have the Secretariat, you have the Security Council. So when the UN supports, it doesn't mean it is like an approval by the Security Council. The UN Secretariat has supported us and we are working constantly with the Special Representative of the Secretary General for West Africa, which also shows that support to what we are doing. The thing is, why is it in Africa that people start asking, why don't you go to the Security Council? Did the Russians go to Security Council before going to Ukraine? And those pumping weapons into Ukraine, are they asking for security sector? When Libya was attacked, was it a security sector?
The argument is that
authorization?
Permanent member states of the UN.
Yeah, no. So this is the question. I mean,
that means that you will need the endorsement of, let's say, Gabon and Mozambique.
Have assembled at the moment.
Okay,
how many soldiers do you have assembled at the moment, ready for that deployment as and when you?
Operational secret.
How many countries have?
Meanwhile, Ghana's Defense Minister Dominic Nitowul is urging ECOWAS chiefs of defense to remain loyal to their president and the sub-regional body on the decision to deploy forces.
Presidential guards in Guinea and Niger, I will use the word, take hostage their president. Nobody, and let me repeat, nobody in West Africa is safe. That is why I urge you to continue to be loyal to your heads of states. I urge you to continue to be loyal to ECOWAS directives and to give effect that the days that coup d'etats enjoy the support of our people are over. Yes, in democracy, people will agree to disagree. But the vast majority of our people, the vast majority of our people in West Africa do not want to be under the difficulties that we are facing today. You have the right, as men in uniform, to ask your governments for what you will need to be able to defend your nations. You have the right to ask your governments to give you the tools to defend the territorial integrities of your nations, to ensure that your nations remain peaceful. You have the right to ensure that your people choose your leaders in a free and fair manner. But the world will disagree. ECOWAS will disagree. The people of ECOWAS will disagree. When you choose, or people under you choose, to take hostage the people that your constitution gives power to.
Let me now take you to Burma Camp, where that meeting of chiefs of defense in ECOWAS countries is happening. Our man Blessed Suga is stationed for us. Hello, Blessed. Has that meeting ended, and what are we learning from it, if it has?
Phase of the engagement have actually wrapped up here at Burma Camp, and we know that, of course, the essence of the meeting today is to have all of the military chiefs, all of the chiefs of defense from West African countries converge here to discuss the decision which borders on the deployment of a military troop into the Republic of Niger. The whole idea is to ensure that there is the reinstatement of President Mohamed Bazoum, and also constitutional order is restored to the Republic of Niger. And the background to it is that the Republic of Niger experienced a coup d'etat at the end, just at the tail end of last month, a reason for which we have all of these meetings happening. Now, the last meeting or summit of the ECOWAS leaders actually happened in Abuja. Now, after that meeting, the heads of states actually decided to operationalize, or if we could use that word, activate an ECOWAS standby force. That was the basic decision of the leaders of the West Africa sub-region. Subsequent to that, we know that ECOWAS formed a committee of chiefs of defense staff who will now look at the operational methods that will be used by the sub-regional body in terms of the deployment methods, what should be done, and how that can be approached from a technical point of view. It's the reason for which we are at Burma Camp today. We saw the likes of the Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwo. We had the Chief of Defense Staff for the Committee of West African States, the Chief of Defense Staff for the Republic of Nigeria, joining the meeting which is underway here at Burma Camp. Very shortly, we'll be speaking to Ambassador Abdel Fattah, who is the Commissioner for Political Affairs for the sub-regional body ECOWAS. He has been in this meeting indicating his position on the matter. And what's the position of the sub-regional body? The position is simple, that ECOWAS stands ready to deploy once the green light is given. The green light hasn't been given yet, except to say that the operational arrangements are being done, and that the headquarters is also readying itself, including countries such as Ghana, readying to contribute troops once the order is given. And we know also that there are concerns about funding capacity of the sub-regional body, ECOWAS, and whether or not we have the funding to go into the Republic of Niger. All of that is being addressed today, knowing that these are questions that all of these army generals would have to answer to their respective countries. We had Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa, who pointed out to the journalists who were reporting here that the funding and everything that will be done solely by the sub-regional body ECOWAS. There's also the bigger question about the UN Security Council decision as to whether or not the sub-region has any form of backing from the UN Security Council. that question came up, and the simple response from the sub-regional body ECOWAS is that, look, we don't need the decision or tacit approval or express permission from the United Nations Security Council. All we need is to ensure, first of all, that we deploy, and I'm speaking from the position of the Economic Community of West African States, when the deployment is done, whatever briefing that needs to be given to the UN about the situation and why the West African leaders are going in will be furnished to the United Nations. However, being a group of sovereign countries, there's absolutely no need for any form of deployment. So we'll be getting to Ambassador Fatel shortly just to get some briefing on what the next steps are, what the way is, and how we can actually deal with the situation now, and what the meeting entails for today, because that's crucial. After today, we know that the chiefs of defense staff will round off their meeting tomorrow and will communicate to the world what the next line of action will be. There's a question about the Republic of Ghana as well, and what the Republic of Ghana will do in terms of our position. Are we committing our troops? Are we contributing troops? Are we going to deploy our forces to be part of this sub-regional body, knowing that countries such as Cape Verde, for instance, opted out and did not attend the meeting for today. So it's the reason for which all of these discussions are going on right here at the Burma Hall at the military headquarters, where of course we're coming to you live from. Let's try and engage Ambassador Musa Fatal. We'll be engaging him shortly. He'll just walk into the shots, obviously, because of the situation we have in the day. We know that obviously there's a need for us to get a brief word from him. So Ambassador Musa will join us shortly for us to get a brief word from him. Ambassador, thank you for joining us on the Johnny channel. You could just come closer so we have a word. We know that the security chiefs, you're having your meeting today. First of all, your impression about the engagements that have transpired in the first hour of the meeting.
Oh, this meeting. I mean, you could see determination. You could see unity of purpose among our military chiefs. Yeah, the chiefs of defense staff, all very determined, and they are just putting the final touches to their operational plans and then get our troops ready. This is more or less a bit like a pledging. What is a meeting? Because the concept of operation is already ready. It's ready. All the factors have been taken into account. What are the potential obstacles? How to overcome them? All these were taken into account in the planning session, right? So this meeting is just to, refine what we have while preparing for possible intervention. And my interaction with the chiefs of defense staff, of course, of all the members that are here, was that they are all determined.
Determined to go, and the question is when.
Not when, I'm not going to tell you, because I'm not, because that's an operational secret. When you tell them we are going to start marching tomorrow, then you give them advance notice, to defend. So we know when the military could go in, and up till now there are diplomatic overtures from ECOWAS, from other willing partners and others. We are giving diplomacy maximum opportunity, to succeed. What we are saying is that if that fails, there is this other option. And this is what we are doing, and we are not letting off, despite the fake news and then the misinformation.
We'll bring you more on that in subsequent bulletins as Blessed Soga continues his monitoring of that very important and crucial meeting of chiefs of defense in ECOWAS. Now, away.